This is a massive tutorial for a trap dubstep lead that has Skrillex and Yellow Claw qualities to it. It's a very versatile sound and very easy to make. And I'm going to talk about the parameters of the sound as well, so you have a general understanding of what's going on when you're building it. So the sound itself, I'll just solo for you. So I'm using it as a trap lead. A bit about Massive. So a Massive is a subtractive wavetable synth. It relies on preset wavetables and waveforms, so wavetables here, and allows you to subtract or add frequencies and harmonics using filters on up to 3 oscillators. You want to start with a new sound, and you want to activate the first oscillator and keep it on the default square saw. So our sound is going to be built on the foundation of a square saw wave. In this case, we're going to keep the wavetable position on full. If we were to have it on 12 o'clock, that would mean that we have both square and saw 1 coming out 50-50. But for this sound, we want to keep it on full. As we go along, I will help you hear the difference. So we're starting with that. We want to keep the intensity on 12 o'clock. So same kind of concept, but as a filtering effect. So straight away what happens is, instead of that high bit, it's got a bit of 50-50 in it. So low and high frequencies coming out. And the amplitude, if turned down, is how loud it is. We want full amplitude because it's a pretty harsh sounding sound. So we'll go on to the oscillator 2, and it's square saw as well. You can do square saw 2. I don't think that there's much of a difference. It just adds a bit of intensity to it. But we want to pitch this up an octave, so that's 12 notes up from what it was. So it's adding another layer on top of highs, basically. So with this one, we want to put it on the square and keep the intensity on full and the amplitude on full. With oscillator 3, we want to do the same thing, keep the default settings, pitch it up 12, keep the wave table position the same, keep everything up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go into the LFO. We're going to put the rate up. So what that's going to do is, when we actually attach it to the pitch and put it up 1 semitone, it's going to give you that alarm sound because of how the waveform is moving. That rate is making that semitone move, so it may not be heard very well at the moment, but we're getting movement in the sound because of the LFO. And it's moving through these parameters, so we've got a sine wave and a saw wave going on. So that's the rate that it's moving. The amplitude is on full, and we would just want to keep the default settings here. So because it's a slightly plucky sound, we want to go into envelope 4, and we want to change the attack a little bit. And as I said, because it was a plucky sound that we're going for, we want to put the level down, and it gives us that sort of pluck, so it's not as harsh as it was before. So these envelope parameters allow us to treat this more as an instrument. If you want to think of a wind instrument, how its parameters work, you'd probably think of someone blowing into a flute. So that's a movement of the mouth. The sound is going to come out as a flute sound, and all of that is a wind instrument. So same concept here. What we're doing is we're treating it, that envelope, the before and after, attack, decay, sustain, release, just like we would play an instrument. So we want to keep the release just there. We get that. But we want that sort of space, I guess, in our sound. So we're going to go to the effects and add some reverb. So we don't want too much. We're going to keep it on about 9. So it gives a nice color to it. And the size we want to keep the same. Density and color the same. So this reverb effect gives it the space that it needs. Before it was very dry. Now it has a bit more life to it. We don't want anything on effects 2. We want to EQ it. So some more filtering basically. We want to add a bit of high shelf to it. Not too much. So just maybe at 1 o'clock. So what it's going to do is it's going to bring out the highs just a little bit more. And on the master, we just want to bring it down a little bit. Otherwise, it starts clipping a little. And although we still want a very distorted kind of sound, we don't want it to clip too much.